So it's truly hard to put into words what Mykl means to me. There is so much history, and being in this space brings back so many memories. So I feel really honored to get to be here. And Mykl touched my life in so many ways. He really helped me grow in my confidence. He helped me to really find like beauty, grace, creativity, connection on the dance floor that I was able to translate into so many ways into my life. And it's really hard to articulate how much that has had this ripple effect in how I live, how I carry myself, in the relationships that I have today. But he really, I think, helped me become a better version of me. And he allowed me to be a part of this really amazing community where there have been so many connections and moments and memories built over the years. And it's not that I'm regularly a part of it anymore, but I still can pick up the phone and call and text certain people, and we have each other's back, and we're so excited whenever there's a major dance event, and it just brings this joy and lightheartedness and community that he loved. And we have this space that we can truly be connected and not have to have words. And there's no real expectations. You just get to create, and he is forever going to be a part of this place. He is always, to me, going to be the heartbeat of the Mykl Werth movement and everything that we do. And his legacy really lives on in each of us, and in the impact that he had, and how the things that he did have affected us, even the things that we're not even aware of. And so you can't ever really say goodbye to him, because he's going to live on forever in us and in the lives that we touch and share this dance style, and just all the different things that he influenced with us will continue to pass on to others. Words cannot convey Mykl's impact on me. He believed in me and helped me grow in my confidence. He taught me beauty, grace, playfulness, creativity, and connection that has woven into all aspects of who I am today. He taught me about the power of touch, being present, and companionship, as well as heartfelt connection without the need for words. The ability to have this amazing moment with this other human being and then just leave it on the dance floor. For me, he will always be the heartbeat of this community. He brought us all together, and his legacy lives on in the mentorship, influence, and impact he had on each of us. I cannot say goodbye, as he never really left. He'll always be a part of me and a part of everyone he touched. All I can really say is thank you, and sending all of my love and gratitude.
The dance method that I've learned from Mykl over the last few decades has introduced me to the most beautiful partnerships, friendships, community members, and dearest friends that are some of the closest individuals in my life to this day, whether I met them 20 years ago or just 2 days ago. And I just can't thank Mykl enough for all the beauty, movement, and joy he has gifted me through movement.
Mykl was a big part of my early 20s, which was over 20 years ago at this point. When I was young, when I was 18, I worked on a cruise ship, and every night the boat would come to dock. And there'd be people in there dancing and having fun, and I thought to myself, I want to teach dance. That's what I want to do. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to take dance classes. And I moved back up to Michigan and started at NMC, and at that time Mykl hadn't started teaching yet. So I took their other dance classes, and it was ballet and tap and all these other, and I just wasn't very good. So just when I was starting to give up on that dream, I was working at Meyer, and Mykl came through my line, and we had an instant connection, and thankfully there was no one in line behind him, because we get to talk as long as we needed to. And he said, hey, I'm going to be starting this dance class at NMC. You should join. I said, okay. And so I did. Was able to take his first NMC dance class, and I loved it. I practiced all the time, and took it a second semester, and ended up being able to he took me under his wing, and we taught together for several years after that. And 2004 is I left to do AmeriCorps, travel, and came back and taught with him a little bit here and there, but it's been out of my life for way too long, and I miss it. I miss him. I miss it all. Because he wasn't just an instructor with me and a partner, but he was a good friend. And he's like, let's go hike the dunes. Let's go cross country skiing. Let's do a festival. And Mykl was always up for fun and adventure, and I miss that, and I love that. And he's left a legacy, and I'm just so proud. Just so proud.
I've known him for 20 years. It's been everything from a good friend to a father figure to a mentor and a colleague. And he showed me a path that I didn't know was there when I was a young man. Didn't really know what direction I was going to go in. And it wasn't like he told me what direction to go in, but he made me ask the right questions. And so I ended up teaching dance and helping him develop a higher education for the MWM, helped him start his business. And that was all the hard stuff. But the easy stuff was always showing up, contact improv nights with the core group of us that kind of started the dance club, started the MWM with him. And to this day, I have friends I know I can call on at any time that will always be there for me. And that's a testament to what Mykl could bring out in everyone. So now there's this large community of loving, creative people that will continue to dance, I'm sure, many years into the future, and train many more people just like me when I was a kid that age. So there are no words to thank him.
My name's Yana, and I've known Mykl since I was a little girl. And my most recent favorite memory with him and what he taught me was at the second to last Earthworks Harvest Gathering in Maddie's Circle with Mykl and James, helping him facilitate. They taught a waltz workshop, and some very precious dancers were there from Mykl's crew and helped facilitate it. And his message that I took away from that day is you don't need to put your feet in the same place twice. And that's kind of a big departure from traditional waltzing, and in his nature, in the vein of the way he taught, fits a lot of what he represented is a different take on what you think you know. So, love you, Mykl.
I was a non-dancer and very, very serious non-dancer until someone brought me to NMC, and I experienced what dance could be, and I learned how to react to a partner's lead and also lead myself. And I learned to feel the lightness of spinning. And one of my favorite things in the world was spinning with Mykl.
Finding Mykl and this dance style was like a missing puzzle piece, and it happened right when I needed it in my life. I think that is true to most people that have found this style. The style itself is what allowed me to go back to college, and from then come back and bring everything I learned to all the other dancers here, and be able to continue hosting MWM now every week. And I'm now surrounded and see these people more than I see most of my family. The connections that MWM and Mykl have created just in my life are truly astonishing. And Mykl himself, when I came into this space, it was like coming into a movie, like Footloose or something. It was incredible. But me personally, I felt already very rigid to people. And something that Mykl really instilled was just his open-mindedness, his grace, his joy, his forgiveness. And I think that's just a really good reminder that I use every single day in every aspect of my life, to kind of just walk this life with a lot more grace like Mykl had. And I think I handle a lot of situations in my relationships and friendships and teaching classes and being able to carry on what he has spent so long to create himself. I think I'm able to emulate that as much as I can, and I wouldn't be where I am today at all without him or this style. So I truly feel honored to continue teaching and hosting every week.
My name's Bill Ford. My wife is Tiffany Ford. She was one of Mykl's dance partners when I met Tiffany and when we first started dating. The first date my wife and I went on was one of Mykl's dance activities. It was in a church, and it was great. It was a great first date, and I remember Mykl from that, but I knew Mykl previous to that. And what I really remember Mykl for is Wheatland Music Festival. They have this landing strip dance floor in the middle of the field right in front of the main stage. And you just always see this guy, he's a little bit taller than everybody else, just kind of gracefully, kind of bouncing like a butterfly in and around everybody. And that was always a sight, that was a great sight, because he was from Traverse City, and he represented really well for the Wheatland Music Festival, which is a great festival. So, so Mykl's was very important to my wife and I, especially my wife. She loves him dearly. And he attended our wedding. And, he's just like a local mini folk hero kind of thing, which is really interesting.
Hi, my name is Lee Elston. This is my husband, Kim. We're Argentine tango dancers in this town, secondary to meeting Mykl 20 years ago at a class that he was teaching for cha-cha, samba. It was a social dance for Latin music. He asked us if we were interested in seeing someone dance Argentine tango, and we said, sure. Little did we know our whole world would change. The shoes that we bought, the clothes that we wear, just everything became about Argentine tango as a true complement to our lives. We thank Mykl Werth for introducing us to dance, and more importantly, introducing us to Argentine tango. And we're saying goodbye to Mykl today. But we're thank you, because dance is still part of what we do every single day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Mykl.
Bye, Mykl.
I really don't know how to quantify any of Mykl's impact on me. He and his legacy, MWM, I think fundamentally changed who I am as a person. There's not a single positive male role model in my life up until I started dancing. And even then I was resistant to it. But seeing someone that could carry themselves with such love and compassion, regardless of what a person was coming from or how they felt about things or how they carried themselves, he was always there and interested just cared so much about everybody that came to his dance room. And like I said, even if I was resistant to it, I say this a lot in my classes and to new people, and I'm the poster child for people who have 2 left feet and don't know how to dance or have no rhythm, or maybe they're not interested in it. I stood in this room, just right over there on that blackboard for 2 years before I ever decided I wanted to dance. And even in that time, I could feel the love in this room, and not even just from Mykl, but MWM. It carries this special property that you can't really explain to anyone who's never experienced it. It's this connection between people, and I'm gonna sound like a hippie saying it, but in this metaphysical way that kind of transcends the humanity that we all have. And it's people from all walks of life come in, and I couldn't tell you how many times I've had somebody stand in front of me and tell me that that dancing's not their thing, or that they don't think that they could do it, or it's a little weird to be so close to somebody that they don't know, or all these different things that I'm certain most of us have felt at some point. But it pushes all that right over, and it did that with me. And I don't know who I would have been without MWM or Mykl in my life. And it's a therapy, it's an activity, it's just a joy. And I don't know of anyone who's participated in it that feels like they have lost something for having been a part of it. And the other really big impact that it's had on me is my relationships. The place itself, I have friends that are gonna be my friends forever. And the closeness that you can share with someone just by being in the same space with them, in this dance space, it's again just something that you can't quantify, you can't explain it. And I'm always going to be grateful for having gotten to experience this. And for the rest of my life, no matter where I go, I am going to be trying to share MWM with anyone who will listen to me, because I think it's just that great. And it just, Mykl's gonna live on through MWM every single time every one of us dances together. That's gonna exist just forever. That love is always gonna be there.
Mykl, love you, man. You've been such an inspiration, and you brought so much joy into my life through these years. I just started to get into dance, little East Coast swing, and you showed me this way to be able to express myself and move my body in other ways. In fact, that's one of the things that I'll always thank you for, as you told me before, that I changed your perspective of who can dance. Because my size and stuff, you said you didn't think somebody my size could move so smoothly and dance so well, and it's always kept me going and helped me enjoy my dancing with that freedom and that peace. We were just talking about you helped turn me into a hugger. Never used to be much of a hugger before, but now I love hugs, love giving hugs to everybody, and kind of people seem to seek it from me now. But it's just the joy that you bring into the rooms, and this dance that we got going on tonight is just an expression of how much love you brought in everybody's lives. And we thank you for that, and we are blessed to have known you.
There's just so much about Mykl that is really a big part of me. There's so much that I wouldn't even be if it wasn't for him. He had a way of not just teaching dance, but kind of giving you your own personal therapy session or like a group therapy session. He would make emotional and just like mental issues and things you were going through connect in a physical way where you could really feel and work through what was going on, or understanding relationships and connections and being able to lean on each other. I find myself constantly, he was always, just, it's about the connection of heart. If it isn't connected to your heart, it isn't worth doing. And I've tried to follow that in everything that I do and everyone that I touch, and just really let it come from the heart. My favorite part that he would always say is everybody always focuses on the steps, and it's the moments between the steps that really is the dance. And I think that applies in like your everyday life. When you're on your way to a destination, it isn't always the destination. It's those moments in between, the things that you didn't expect to happen, but if you really allow yourself to be in this moment right here, or as he would say, be here now, you would get the most from that in those moments. I don't really feel like I've lost Mykl, because he's, like I said, just a big part of who I am and all of these people I see, and I cannot imagine the countless lives that he's touched.
I knew Mykl. I met Mykl. I've known Mykl for many years. I met him in the late 80s, early 90s, a little bit through Bayside Travelers dances, and I went to a dance camp at Wheatland, and that's where I met him. And we were doing step dancing, like clogging and French Canadian, and that's where I met him. And then I connected with him more at Bayside Travelers, and he was looking for a dance partner. He had found a gig to be the dancing. There was a dancing couple for a Chautauqua. The Michigan Chautauqua was, I don't remember the year. It was to celebrate, I think, the 175th birthday of Michigan. And he was looking for a dance partner, and I got to be that dance partner. So it was just so much fun. We did step dancing, we did waltzes, we did like dances through the history of Michigan with costume changes, and there were other artists involved, like some actors, historians, jazz band, Song of the Lakes, and it was a summer full of fun, traveling all over Michigan and dancing. And I learned so much from Mykl. We did not choreograph our dances. We did everything. Every dance was different every night. We had the same costumes. And we became so intuitively connected, just from how we danced, that we would create new steps different nights, like new things would come out. And it was just fun, like no other kind of fun, like fully alive in the moment and listening to each other. He was the main lead, but I was the back lead. Like I could, if I felt inspired, I could back lead. And just the connection. And we coined all these terms, like the weight of the nickel. And we taught waltz, we taught blues, we taught step dancing. We traveled to lots of dance camps, and life was a blast. And when we weren't dancing, we were swimming in lakes and hiking in sand dunes, which are all Mykl things. He taught me a lot. He lived outside of the regular culture, and very connected to the earth, and just connection. That was the main communication. and the best communication. Like, you know, you can dance for hours. You can stay connected for hours. We would, sometimes when we were traveling and together for a lot of days, we would decide the night before to have a word fast for the next day. So we'd go to sleep and wake up the next day and no words. So we had to communicate with other ways. Sometimes if you had to write a note, you could. But it was like playing with connection in every realm. Connection with the earth, barefoot, swimming, music, dance, fun. And he, of all the people that I've known, he stayed true to his values. And I love that, like, I haven't been in this community for many years. I've been out west for about 20 years. I ran into him at the Indoor Folk Festival at Building 50 a couple years ago. And that was the first time I'd seen him in many, many years. But that was a gift. I'm so grateful for what I did learn with Mykl and all the lessons in communication. And dancing is different. Like, it's hard to dance with people who don't know how, especially men who are traditional leads. It's hard to dance with men who aren't willing to listen, and like I've been told on a dance floor at a country western bar, I was told, I will work for women, I will do this, but I will not be led on a dance floor by a woman. And I was like, oh God, it's not fun. You can't bring yourself if you have to be a complete follow. And when you get to dance in a connected manner, you're present. As a female, it's a huge thing. And I learned that from Mykl, how to be present and how to co-lead. And there are lessons that go through life. Like I can tell people on the dance floor, I can almost tell how their relationships are outside of the dance floor just by how they dance together. And I think all I want to say is that I'm grateful for the gift that he is, that he continues to be through this dance. And I want to say that I loved waltzing, very, very slow waltzes with him, because there's just so much room to play and to connect. And it can be uncomfortable if somebody's not listening, but when you're listening, a slow waltz is like best thing on the planet. Waltzing was so fun and one of our favorite things to do. We had buttons designed for Bayside Travelers that said more waltzes, because we wanted like maybe 2 counter dances and a waltz, and maybe 2 more counter dances and another waltz, and maybe 3 waltzes and a counter dance. He's an amazing soul, and I love that his stuff is going to continue to go on, that the dance continues, and that he gets to watch from the divine heaven to watch us dance. Thank you, Mykl.
I met Mykl 17 years ago when I was 13 years old. I'd seen a poster for dance lessons at the library, and I begged my mom to let me go, and she almost didn't because it was a college class and I was just this little 13-year-old homeschooled girl. But I wanted to take that class so bad, and my mom brought me on the first day and told Mykl, you watch out for her. And he did. For my entire teen years, he walked me to my car, and he made sure that I was safe in that dance room. I spent countless hours being mentored by him, and he was one of the most impactful figures of my teen years and my 20s. I'm gonna miss him for a really, really long time, and I can't wait to dance with him again on the other side.
Starting for myself with this group, I was such a lost kid. just the world and my physical limitations hold me back. And luckily I had a friend that invited me to come and check out what she had heard at NMC as a dance class. Little did I know that that same class was going to be taught by the guy I had met a few years prior in junior high rather, him teaching us to dance to the decades. Between him and all the people he has touched that helped to guide me, I probably wouldn't even be here today without them. They changed my life and gave me a purpose and gave me a love for a connection I didn't know was possible. Mykl, for the brief time that I was in his life, just like a father that I wish my father had been to me, and showed me kind of love that I didn't know you could get from a stranger. It opened me up to a world that just I look forward to every single week, to see my friends, to connect, to move, even with my limitations, and to have this community is just everything. Everybody is so loving and forgiving and nurturing. His way of movement, slow, purposeful, artistic creation is what I strive for everything. And it started because of the connection that we had, that he showed me. I'll be forever grateful because he's changed my life for the better. And I will dearly miss him.
Mykl Werth was an inspiration to me. So I first met Mykl back in like 2015, 2016 time when I started going to school at NMC, and I signed up for a partner dance class. That's what it was called. And that's when I met Mykl for the first time, was taking that class. And this was the first time I had ever taken any kind of partner dancing before, so I was very excited and nervous at the same time, but thankfully I was a natural. And I picked up the Mykl Werth movement very quickly. Mykl was able to influence me and teach me exclusively and show me all of the different methods of co-creative and allowed me to grow and blossom as a dancer. Thanks to Mykl, I was able to take co-creative and travel with it and teach, and I experienced some incredible moments with co-creative. I got to teach different colleges. I got to travel out of the country and teach in Trinidad. So I have been able to bring co-creative to multiple different cultures, and that just brings me so much joy. When I dance, I feel like I am spreading Mykl's love. And I miss him a lot. And I haven't been in the co-creative community for a while because I moved, but I have never been able to stop experiencing the feelings that co-creative brings me. It has brought me the physical warmth that I need in my life. It has helped me experience extraordinary feelings that I don't even know how to explain. You just get lost in the dance, and I think that is the best part about it. Anybody can do it. It's for absolutely everyone. And I am the person that I am today. I am the dancer that I am today because of Mykl and Co-Creative. I miss dancing with him, but I don't think I can ever forget that smile or the very, very gentle touch of a friend. Mykl's life lives on through Co-Creative and through the community of people that are here today and have consistently been around over the years. He lives on. We love you, Mykl. I love you, Mykl.
Hi, Mykl. I hope that somehow you can see this. I think that you can. I just want to say thank you for creating such a beautiful community. I am so grateful to have found this 10 plus years ago, and yeah, it's just so evident to me how many lives you've touched, and in such beautiful ways. Like, you've helped so many people. Yeah, I know for me personally, dealing with everybody has issues that they're bringing to the table in their lives, and dance is such a therapy. And so I just think you've created just such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful outlet for all of us, and a sense of community that's so important, especially in these times. So I just want to say thank you, and I wish that you were still here dancing with us, and I can still see you here dancing with us, and I have a lot of beautiful memories. And I hope that you're dancing wherever you are. I hope you're in a beautiful place that has, sunshine and sand dunes and lakes to jump into, and just, peace and joy and movement. Yeah, I hope that you're happy and you're dancing, and that you know what an amazing impact you've had on your community. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Mykl.
I might take a lot for granted nowadays. It's this dancing that Mykl Werth introduced me to, about 10 years ago, seemed to have really helped me develop this intuitive appreciation for movement. Just a comfort and adaptability that nowadays I'm using daily in some of my greatest joys. Outdoor activities like kayaking or biking, skiing, oftentimes great things to do with others. And it's just, these things are like the soul of my life. Along with being able to connect with others through dance. To be able to move with others like we do here, dancing, and have been doing for the last decade, has also really informed my comfort, and it's given me more appreciation for just how pleasant it is to have a conversation with others and to dance with them, to know them. Mykl Werth's influence has helped me develop an appreciation for many things, including people, community, and some of the things that bring me a lot of joy in life.
In a different dance room, in a different time, when Mykl was still with us, I had tried to give my original impact statement to him. It was his birthday, and we had all been prompted by Ashley Urbanis to share what dance meant to us, how Mykl had impacted us, and how MWM itself had impacted us or our lives. I tried telling the story once before, and I got too choked up, and I recalled later when Mykl was giving me a hug that he said it was beautiful, genuine, and from the heart. So I'm going to try and do a better job this time. So ever since I was a little child, I always wanted to do dance. It wasn't accessible. It was also something for me of ability to be able to dance. It depended on all these factors of money and clothing and even like social status. But with Mykl, he offered it at low to no cost to almost everybody and welcomed you in as family. And he became just that for many people. He filled the shoes that many people before him and in all of our lives had left vacant, whether it's father figures, a male figure, a friend, or any family member. Somehow he had this natural warmth to him, his smile, the way he carried himself. And I remember, as well as many others, the first time I danced with him, somehow he had coaxed me onto the floor and encouraged me to try this thing called MWM. And it was so natural, I didn't even have to think of it. Before I knew it, we were moving around the floor. And it just kind of lit this fire inside of me to keep going. And once that light bulb for MWM goes off, you're just kind of addicted for life. It's something you can take at all ages, on all levels, and apply to anybody. So it wasn't anymore for me about ability, level, skill, experience, who you knew, dance circles you were a part of, or dance troupes you were in since a kid. It was more about just being and connection, and that was huge. I always wanted to dance since I was little. I had found little sprinkles of it throughout life. In Brazil, I had found my first partner dancing, and coming back to the US, I was extremely disappointed and just wanted to go back because I wanted that feeling of being connected with somebody else in whatever fashion, to express myself and to be able to have this sense of safety and closeness and vulnerability with somebody that had nothing to do with anything sexual. And that was really beautiful for me and very meaningful, given some of my past experiences. So that night, when we were doing a dance circle and finished, when it was one of Mykl's late or mid-70s birthdays, we tried to all go around the room and share, and that is kind of what I was trying to share, but wasn't able to that night. I asked for dance, and Mykl gave me a whole dance community, dance family, friends, and many life lessons I can take with me for the rest of my life.
Mykl had such an impact on my life. More than just dance, because I didn't think I could dance. I didn't think big girls could. So he showed me differently. Even had it so at some point I was able to let him lead me and do a small dip. And the first time I did that and I let him, and he had such a smile on his face that I let him do that and trusted him enough to not drop me. That was amazing. But the thing about Mykl is he accepted people for who they were, where they were at any given moment. And he taught me to trust myself and to like myself and to accept myself. I had an easier time accepting others, but accepting myself was harder. And he helped me do that. And dance was such a healing thing for me. And he was a great part of that, and I don't know where my life would be without him being a part of it. And I'll miss him greatly, but he was amazing, an amazing person.
Mykl, very much, he could read people. He could read people no matter what they were doing, especially in dance. And so my own dance, I was so rigid. I was so broken in the way I moved. And Mykl, he was able to convert broken movement to broken life. He was able to tell things that was going on in your life that you wouldn't have even imagined. And he'd come right up to me, in the middle of a dance, and he could just tell me exactly what was going on in my life. Like, you're moving with big steps. He's like, you must travel a lot, don't you? You do a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, I can tell, you're making big steps. Shorten your steps down. Or even simple things like for relationships. He would explain that I was always to the side of the woman. And he's like, Aaron, where are you going? She's right in front of you. Stand in front of her. And they seem like little things, but there's little things like that he could read from across the room. And he would tell me things that I didn't even know about myself, that he could just see just in the way I moved. But even more than that, I mean, it wasn't just in dance. Doing all of our walks and hikes and talks with Mykl, being invited, he and I almost ate an entire bucket of ice cream. Just the two of us. And he would share very profound wisdoms. For example, one of his favorite books, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and why it was important to him. And it wasn't just that you could talk to him about life and he'd have all this philosophy about the simple things. It was as simple as you'd be standing there on a dune, looking into the sunset together. No words had to be spoken. And the energy, you could just feel it. You could feel this energy of peace, serenity, and it just felt like ancient wisdom by saying nothing. He didn't have to say a word. He changed my life, and I know that many people are going to say the same thing, but he's probably one of the greatest impacts on life I've ever had for a mentor. He genuinely cared about everybody. We would be walking on a dune hike or something, talking about something completely different. We would argue about politics or whatever. And then you'd say, none of this matters. What matters is this person, somebody who is struggling in dance or something, struggling in their life. And he could immediately just say, the other stuff doesn't matter. Let's talk about this person. And he genuinely cared about them. People I wouldn't have ever imagined. And it really didn't matter to him. He was the one who ended up teaching me the importance of relaxing and just saying, He literally trained me on that. How to say, and just relax. And that one actually I use almost every day.
Here I am in Sleeping Bear Dunes, Mykl's favorite place, with the sand and the clouds, the dune grass. This was an adventure place for Mykl, and this is how he lived his life, with adventure and excitement, and you can never get him away from life and beauty, and so grateful for this place with the adventures we had and just the beauty of nature that he enjoyed and got others to enjoy with him. And Mykl, there are no words to describe you. You're an amazing person who lived an amazing life, made an amazing community of people, and brought people together, whether it was here at NMC and the college of dance or the community. And you're just an amazing person, and you'll be forever remembered, and your spirit will always be with us. May you dance forever. May we always remember the kindness, community, and togetherness that you taught through dance and through your life.
I first met Mykl in 2018 when I signed up for his dance class. I had just gone through a very tough time in my life and decided to make some changes for the better. And I felt like I was drawn to dance. That was something that I thought would be therapeutic for me. And so I took his class, and I knew nothing about the co-creative style. I was familiar with modern dance and jazz and traditional ballroom dancing, but immediately I could tell that his class was different. His style was very approachable. He was so warm and welcoming, and just being in his class among so many people who were everywhere from absolute beginners in dance to professionals
he created an amazing environment that was welcoming for everybody. And just being immersed in that raised one's confidence in no time at all. And it created a sense of community and belonging that I hadn't felt in many years. After that, I moved away. I moved back downstate, where I was originally from. And something compelled me to move back up north a year later. And I was drawn back to the dance community. There was nothing like it that I experienced downstate. I couldn't find anything like the Mykl Werth method. I couldn't find anything like the dance community and the people up here, the warmth, the welcoming space and the presence. And so that was something that I got back into slowly when I came back, but unfortunately, COVID happened, so I was never able to take a second dance class with him, and I regret that. But fortunately, we still have the dance community, and his legacy is still going on thanks to many, many dedicated people that he's inspired along the way. And besides being in his dance class, I was also fortunate enough to go on hikes with him and other friends. And I learned a lot about him as a person through those hikes throughout the dunes. I know that was one of his favorite places to go to. And he inspired me to really be present and mindful in the moment, wherever I was in life, especially those times when you can just stop what you're doing and take a moment to breathe and really immerse yourself in nature. That was a really important, meaningful part of what he taught me in my life.
I didn't know Mykl that well, but this alone, like what he gave, what he offered, it was a big impact. It changed my life in ways that I did not expect. I was just a guy that moved back from Oklahoma. A year later, I meet somebody and tell them I always had an interest in that country line dancing, and they showed me this place and they introduced me to Mykl, and then next thing I know, I entered a whole world that I had no idea how much of an impact it was going to be and what he was going to bring to it. I mean, I found new strengths in myself, I found confidence, and I found a way to just look at myself differently. It was almost like it took a weight off my chest that I didn't even know that was there. Like I found some sort of therapy that I didn't know I needed. I mean, when I found out that he passed, I just didn't know how to take it. It was just a mix of emotions. It was sadness, but then there was also knowing that he was in peace and out of pain, and that he was back in God's hands. It just made me think about dance when you're flying. He's flying eternally. It does make me regret that I didn't spend enough time with him. But I am beyond blessed to have the memories I do have with him. And what he gave me. He introduced a gift that I didn't even know I was capable of. Still trying to figure out that gift, but there's a lot I have to be thankful for him for. If I could say one last thing to him, I would say thank you. And famously, God bless and rock on.
My existence in the dance community was nothing if not an adventure of chaos. And I think the thing that strikes me so much now is how invisible it was to me because of Mykl's kindness and love. And it was a long time before I found peace and tranquility. But I don't think I would have found it if it weren't for him. Somehow, even gone, He is an anchor that has managed to save me in times when there was no living soul that could pull me out of my own head. And what he taught me gave me an ability to communicate when I couldn't verbalize how I felt. And I'll forever be grateful for that.
Mykl was a light. I feel like he brought out the best in everyone around him and just freely shared himself through dance. One of my favorite memories was seeing him at Harvest Gathering, and he was just so lit up about dancing to uncanned music, is what he called it. And just dancing in the barn there with him felt magical.
Mykl was one of the most amazing and free and welcoming people that I have ever met. MWM has absolutely changed my life for the better. It has given me creative freedom. I have met friends and mentors and people that I never even would have come in contact with without MWM. From when it was at NMC and taking his last 8-week class, I am just so honored to have been a part of that. And I know that his dancing style and his friendship and the sense of community will continue as long as people are dancing.
So I unfortunately never got to know him personally, which is a real shame. But my first interaction with Mykl was when he was visiting, and my body's in motion here on Friday, and that was dancing with someone, and I'd never met him before, but I could tell that obviously he was having a lot of difficulty. But his eyes, really, the way they lit up, because it was the first time my interacting with him, and watching his eyes light up, just watching me dance, I could tell that was definitely the thing he loved. But then when I watch him dance, it's like the whole Yoda from Star Wars thing. He drops the cane and then just goes ham all over the place. Like, it's a lot of it was still there. He's still kicking. So that was. I've only had a few interactions like that with him, but I'm extremely appreciative for having a place to dance, because there just aren't a lot of dance alternatives out there that isn't really trashy stuff at nightclubs and whatnot, and environments that are very narcissistic and, even for me, very intimidating. And here is a community where you have this skill that can be learned, practiced, and I've made a lot of great friends here, including the people behind the camera right now, and it's just a great way to get to know people. Dancing used to be something that was very common, and it's not anymore, because there just aren't a lot of forms for it, and this community is really thriving. So, Mykl, all I can say is a thank you to you, man. So.
I did just take his class twice last year. There are these teachers that learned his method, and I guess what I can say about him is that from the outside, I kind of knew how to dance for many years. Been dancing for like 6-7 years. For the longest time, I'm still counting in my head and looking at my feet on occasion. And the first time I took his class, I had like a lot of headaches because it was none of what I was used to. I was used to like recorded steps and following patterns and being strict and doing things. And so what I got out of this was, I felt like if normal dances for tango or swing or anything were kind of like words together, it kind of taught me how to put them together to tell a story. So that verbs and adjectives and conjugation, so you could, once you get knocked off your pattern, it doesn't matter, there is no pattern. There's a flow, and there's a story, and there's a life to it. So I never did get to meet him, but that's how he influenced me. And internally now, it probably looks the same, but I feel like I actually am dancing instead of just moving.
Hi, Mykl. This is a tribute to you. Olivia and I want to say a couple words about how you have impacted our lives through your love and passion for not only dance, but people, and how you really connect people together.
I only met Mykl actually when we went and visited him for his birthday and danced with him at the home that he was in. And I didn't get to see the Mykl that a lot of people know, and I still think I got to know him because he still was so bright and smiley and just such a joy, even in the moments where some people were a little bit sad. And it just was the most beautiful thing ever to just see that smile and dance with him. And I never thought that I would have a place to dance. I never thought I would find a dance community, and I've always wanted to. Never taken any classes, and this has brought that to me.
And this girl is an amazing lead, so Mykl, you would have loved it. But yeah, so I guess my story is kind of similar. I first met Mykl actually at Night of Dance at the Opera House, and I remember seeing the look on his face. Mykl was so happy, and even though words were difficult at that time for him, he was able to just show how much enjoyment he got out of everybody that was there dancing. And for me, I always wanted to be a dancer, never thought of myself as a dancer, and then met so many wonderful people in this dance community that opened my eyes to just how wonderful dance could be and how many friends I could have and the connection with people that could be had through dance. So Mykl, you and I got to share a Thanksgiving meal at Sarah Weezy's together. We sat next to each other, and I really got to know you a little bit more. So that was a great moment in my life, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget dancing for you for your birthday. That was a great time. I remember James hit the wall a few times that day, which was really funny. But yeah, you were in your wheelchair, and we had you popping wheelies and doing all kinds of fun things. So that memory will live on forever. So thank you for being you, Mykl. Thank you for all that you've done for the dance community, and we'll see you someday up in the big sky.
I discovered this dance because a friend recommended it and brought me, and ever since then my life has added so much joy to it, and I've built so much confidence outside of dance, but also tonight I noticed myself being able to dance with confidence, and I never thought I would dance, so I have him to thank for that, for him introducing this style of dance. It has changed my life, even though I have never met him.
I will always treasure my first few meetings with Mykl. There were only a few times I've met him, but it impacted me tremendously. I met him at the Villa when he was getting towards the end of his life, but I'll never forget the absolutely radiant spark in his eyes, the joy and the warmth and the love that came out of him. Like, I've never seen someone communicate so much without saying a single word. And that's what I remember most when I think of him. But I also think of what it was like when he watched all of us dancing, and a few of us were performing for him, and all the other residents of the Villa kind of carrying on his legacy of everything that he'd created, this dance style that he'd worked so hard to build. And seeing that joy reflected on his face, knowing that we had offered a little bit of what he gave to us back to him, was something I'll never forget. I came to dance about a year ago, so I've been doing it probably a year and maybe a few months beyond that. I came at a really pivotal time in my life where I was really leaning into discovering a deeper connection with my own body, with movement, whether that was through athletics or through self-expression and dance. And co-creative became just this incredible outlet for me where I felt free to move without judgment. I never had to worry about other people thinking about what I looked like or if I was doing it right or wrong. I was always met with kindness and warmth and people telling me, hey, you should try this, you should try that. And not having learned directly from Mykl, I can only imagine that that was the spirit that was passed on through him to others. This ability to look at someone and see their unique spirit and their unique expression of who they were through movement, and to celebrate that and champion that, and also strive for excellence and above all for deeper connection with other human beings. I think that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to when we speak of this connection, when we speak of this this thing that kind of this invisible connection between dancers, it really, when you talk about it, it starts to sound very very woo-woo. It starts to sound like energy. It starts to sound like maybe even love, this shared common humanity that we all have, that we can look into someone else's eyes, even if we've only just met them a moment ago, and immediately recognize in them something of ourselves, and also something that we'll never quite understand, the mystery of who they are as a unique human being. And I think that's Mykl's gift, or at least that's what I've received, what's been passed down to me, and I look forward to continuing to discovering that in the months and years ahead, and hopefully share it with others as I can. I am deeply humbled and so grateful for his impact on me, and yes, just hope to continue to share that with others.